Chairman. Secretary McCord, Secretary Austin, and General Brown, thank you very much for your service. Secretary Austin, I want to thank you for your leadership regarding Red Hill in Hawaii, and it was the right decision to close this massive World War II fuel storage facility. Admiral Wade and the Joint Task Force have worked diligently alongside the state and federal partners to safely remove all of the fuel from the facility in recent months, but of course, more work remains. What is your view regarding the department's long-term responsibility for the environmental restoration and remediation efforts following the closure of Red Hill to ensure that no contamination of the aquifer that the people of Oahu rely on for drinking water occurs now and in the future attributable to military installations or actions?
Thanks, Senator. Protecting public health and the environment, we're in the communities where we have our troops stationed is a department priority. And, you know, we made a promise to the citizens of Hawaii to conduct any and all necessary environmental remediation around the Red Hill facility. And we're gonna live up to that promise. As you know, as you just pointed out, last month, JTF Red Hill completed its defueling, and so the work has transitioned to the Department of the Navy now for the Red Hill closure efforts, and we're going to stay focused on that. And you know, I will continue to make sure that I get briefed on this routinely. And make sure that we're doing the right things to meet our timelines, but most importantly, make sure that we do the right things in terms of environmental restoration.
Thank you for your continuing commitment, because there will be long-term, I would say, requirements as to monitoring, et cetera. So that brings me to another question that I have for you. I am concerned about the department's ability to hold senior officials accountable following major incidents, such as the fuel leak at Red Hill and the fire on board the U.S. Bonhomme Richard. I am including a provision in this year's NDAA that would create a new investigation category to provide consistency when there is a catastrophic incident resulting in a significant loss of life or billions of dollars in taxpayer money, to ensure those responsible are held accountable for their actions. Would you be amenable to changes in this area, especially for catastrophic incidents such as the ones that I cited, so that really the investigation and the responsibility issues are before the department as opposed to the services that are involved?
Thank you, Senator. I've seen your correspondence on this issue, and I've asked my people to take a look at this, and certainly we will do so. We'll analyze it and come back and have a discussion with you on where we are. But I really appreciate your continued focus on this.
Thank you very much. I've talked about how important infrastructure is to readiness, and I note that during the last year's posture hearing, you agreed that the military services need to invest in infrastructure to make sure our service members have the facilities they need to execute their mission. However, even in the Indo-PACOM priority theater, there are billions in infrastructure projects in Hawaii alone and the rest of the region, either on a service or Indo-PACOM's unfunded priority list. Secretary Austin, how does the department ensure that infrastructure maintenance and modernization needs are met if there are multiple critical projects in Hawaii and throughout the region that are not being funded in the president's budget?
Well, we have, as you know, Senator, invested a lot into infrastructure throughout the region, and the PDI, Admiral Aquilino's request for the Pacific Deterrence Initiative this year is some $9.9 billion, and it includes infrastructure projects. And that's on top of the $20 billion that we've requested over the last couple of years in support of the PDI. So we continue to invest in this, and again, in terms of specific projects, the services will have to continue to rank order what their priorities are based upon what their specific budget, what's available in their budget. But this is very important to us, and something that we'll continue to work on.
Well, you testified today that tough choices need to be made and near-term readiness, which is also making sure that our infrastructure is maintained. I just want to note one more thing. I am concerned about the cost overruns for the critical Dry Dock 3, which is the biggest infrastructure project within the DoD, replacement at Joint Base Pearl Harbor, Hickam. And despite the lessons learned from Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, the cost of Pearl Harbor's dry dock recently increased by over $800 million. No sooner did I go and give a speech about how important this dry dock is that I am confronted by this, what I consider to be a massive cost overrun. How can we, I just want to note that I'd like to hear from you. I'm out of time right now, but we need to be a lot more accurate in planning for infrastructure projects from the beginning to enable us to better estimate how much these costs are going to be, because to go from 1 week to say that, this is great, where we learn lessons from Portsmouth, and then 2 weeks later, it's $800 million more. So, Secretary Austin, I really would like to be assured that we are going to keep track of what's going on with this dry dock infrastructure project in Hawaii, because I have a feeling that I may be confronted with even more costly increases. It is a statement that I'm making, and I expect to be apprised as we go forward.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that this dry dock's important. It is absolutely important. One of the things that happened here was that, we didn't fully appreciate the impact of COVID on the supply chains and some other things. And so those effects have lasted longer than we anticipated, and that's part of what's going on here. So.
Thank you. Senator Hirono. Senator Rounds, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.